All right, here we go. Tabernet Talks, ready for another episode. I have Becky Bostic on.
Hi,
I'm allowed to say that. So she okayed it. Right? So welcome, KW Mainline.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
We've had a lot of KW agents on recently. We had a Coldwell Banker agent on last week who was Old City. But I get a lot of KW Philly. We got a lot of guys from Jim Roach's office, Rarity.
Yeah.
Right? I'm sure you know them.
Yep.
And of course, McCann and his team. So it's good to have you guys on. But give me your background. Tell me, how you started, where you started, and the whole nine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for having me on.
Of course.
Very excited and happy to be here.
Right.
I got my marketing degree from a college right outside of Boston. And I started right out of college working as a district manager for Aldi food stores.
Okay. I know Aldi.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't shop there anymore because of my horrible experience.
Actually,
working for
they're
them.
pretty big in Philly here.
They are big in Philly.
Yeah.
And in the suburbs where I work in Bucks County.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I did that for 4 years and I was miserable
miserable working at Aldi.
Yeah,
All right.
I made great money, but I had no work-life balance. Not that I have that now.
Yeah.
But at least
you're a realtor now.
Yeah. At least I work for myself.
You might want to go back to Aldi.
Yeah, right. No, never. And so I decided to quit and I thought, what do I want to do? And I knew I was always passionate about real estate because I grew up, not many people know this, but I grew up fairly poor in a trailer park in Doylestown. And my parents...
I mean, this is a good story, right? This is the kind of story we want. Realtors who come from nothing and made themselves something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, if you don't really know me, you would maybe just look at social media and think I was handed
Your social media is ridiculous.
It's a highlight reel for sure.
Her social media, if you guys check it out, her Instagram explodes. At Facebook, she has over 5,000 followers. She was just accepted on American Dream Network, right?
Yeah.
Which we're going to get into in a few minutes, she's out of 80 realtors. She was picked like number 5, right? So, or top 5. So that's huge. So to hear you coming from nowhere, I like it because a lot of agents, some of them were already hand fed into a situation of, being already having a family in it and, walking into something that was already established.
Yeah. Yeah. Or they have a significant other that's a builder
already has something
a relative
going on.
that has a bunch of listings ready to hand to them. Yes. And that was not me.
Yeah.
And so growing up poor on welfare, in a trailer park, my parents never owned real estate. So I was never exposed to that life. I had no idea what it even took to purchase your first house or anything involved in that. So once I graduated college and I started working at Aldi, I bought my first house when I was 23 and I realized, wow, this is really attainable. I was only working for Aldi maybe for... Did
you buy the house on your own?
Yeah. Well, I was married at the time to my ex-husband. So we bought it together.
Okay.
But it was new construction. It was $300,000. It was in Connecticut.
Nice.
Where I was living at the time for my job.
Right.
And
you don't see many 23-year-olds buying houses.
Yeah, no.
Period.
Even today.
Even if they're married or not, they're still living in an apartment renting. Right.
And I didn't have an 800 credit score. We went FHA. I think I had like a 680 credit score. I hardly had any money saved, but I was able to make it work.
Yeah.
And I figured it all out on my own. And I realized, wow, this is so attainable. And there is a big stigma around how hard it is to become a homeowner. And this was back in 2009. So when the economy was crashing or had just crashed.
You came right at the bomb there.
I did. And I had blinders on because I was working like 80 hours a week at Aldi. So I was not watching TV. I was not on social media.
Yeah.
I was getting up at 5:30. I wasn't getting home till 9 o'clock at night. I had no idea what was going on in the economy. I just knew I wanted to buy a house.
Right.
Which is ignorance is bliss at that point.
It is. Listen, the less you know, the better.
Absolutely. So in some cases, yes.
Especially in real estate.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So I bought a house in 2009 on Cinco de Mayo and we had margaritas after to celebrate. I'll never forget this. And then
I like margaritas.
Yeah, I know. I'm pregnant. I wish I could have one now.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's great.
Thank
All
you.
right. Yeah.
So I worked for Aldi and I realized, gosh, my life is miserable. It looks great on paper, but I'm miserable. So I quit my job and my ex-husband got a job transfer to Columbus, Ohio. And we moved there and I was really able to think about what I want to do for my career. And I decided to get my real estate license.
Awesome.
And it's really crazy because everyone I told that I wanted to do that, everyone told me not to do it. They were like, it was 2012.
Yeah.
It was a horrendous market.
It was.
You're never going to be able to break into any type of market
was
share.
A very hard market. If you don't remember being in the real estate and mortgage business, 12 and 13 were transition markets because we went through the 8 bomb and then we tried to get back to normal and it was very hard.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah. And so thankfully, I didn't know what I didn't know and I didn't want to listen to the naysayers. And I went to school anyway and I got my real estate license in Ohio where I had just moved there, had no idea about the school districts, no idea about the neighborhoods, no idea how to sell real estate, no mentor to help me or guide me. And I got licensed. I joined a KW brokerage there in Columbus. And in my first year, I was Rookie of the Year and I sold 24 homes.
Wow.
The average sale price out there is like, it's still lower than here, but back then it was like 170.
Great.
So it was, you're grinding for, not a large paycheck.
Right.
But it taught me a lot about resiliency. And I just knew consistency is key. And I knew what I had to do to show up every single day and just keep going until I find some wins. So that's my background. And that was in 2012. And here we are.
And ever since you've just been, so KW the whole time?
So I had a hot minute where in 2017, so 2012, I was in Ohio. I was there 2012, 2013. I got divorced and I moved back home to Doylestown. Yeah. I got this cute little tiny house that I rented out. It was just me and my bulldog. Yeah. And I had to start over and get licensed here in PA. And I joined KW in Doylestown. Okay. And then shortly after that, that was in 2014. And then I got licensed in Jersey in 2016. And then in 2017, I don't know what I was thinking, but I decided to move to Center City to figure out what it was like to live the city life. Right. And while it's wonderful if it's your thing. Right. I am totally a country girl. Right. And I quickly moved back to Bucks County because I realized you were
like, this is not for me.
City life is not for me.
No, I understand. Right?
And so I decided to change my office and I moved over to HomeSmart.
Oh, so, I know HomeSmart well.
Which is great. Like it was in Fishtown.
Yeah, and I know the office too.
Yeah, and on York Street.
Yes,
and
they've been there a while.
Yes, and Bill Kratz is the owner and broker of record. I'm pretty sure he still is, and he's a great guy. I really like Bill. But I was the top producer of the entire office. Right. And I never want to be the best in the room that I'm in. Right. I actually want to be doing the least amount of things in the room that I'm in. Because
I agree. You want to look up to somebody.
Yeah,
and you want to model yourself over somebody who's more successful than you.
Absolutely. Right. And the 5 people you spend your most time with, you're going to eventually be like.
And actually those people that will bring you down if you don't have somebody who's better than you.
Exactly. So that's why I was there for maybe, I don't know, a year and a half. And it was great. I mean, it was a great time there. I have nothing bad to say.
I understand.
But I felt like I was doing
we don't want to trash HomeSmart on this show.
No. HomeSmart's great.
Then I'll lose all those people.
Right. Sorry. No, HomeSmart is great.
HomeSmart's great.
Yes.
We love you.
Yes, we love you, HomeSmart.
Yeah, great.
But I was doing 12, 13 million and I just felt like I plateaued. I couldn't break past that 12, 13 million mark. And I did that for 2 years in a row. I'm like, what is missing in my life? And I need to be around big players. I want to be around people that are doing 100 million a year, 200 million a year.
Yep. And hence Mike McCann.
Yeah, exactly. I love you, Mike, if he's watching. I was just talking with him on the phone yesterday.
I'm sure he's going to watch this.
Yes.
And then we're eventually going to get him on.
Yeah. Oh, please get Mike on. He's amazing.
Of course.
And so in 2020, I moved over to KW Philly.
Yep.
And then he opened Mainline, and then I followed him over to Mainline.
Yeah. Mainline's a great office, great area, obviously.
Yeah.
And not KW Philly's great too, but it's just a different, two different worlds.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And there's parking at Mainline, which
That's what
makes
I mean.
it a million
Yeah,
times
you got
better.
no parking here. Right. Terrible parking here. No doubt. All right. So you kicked butt, rookie of the year, then number one in HomeSmart, still rock and roll through KW. What's going on right now? So it's a tough market. Let's tell the truth.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what I want from you.
Yeah.
Because I know that there's a lot of things right now that are going on in this market that I'm seeing. Even the best realtors are faltering, and their numbers are probably nowhere near what they were a year or two ago. But it seems like you're still on it. From what I can see. Your social media is exploding. Again, you were picked for the show. So you got to be doing something right versus what everybody else, well, not everybody, because there's still a select few that are still hitting the streets and hitting it hard. But what do you think is the difference right now? And what versus where you came from, obviously? And then how are you staying successful?
Yeah. So this is, people probably don't want to hear this, but I'm just going to.
They want to hear everything.
All right.
We want to hear it all. The
All right.
truth.
Yes.
Yes.
So I would say up until 2 years ago, when interest rates were still in the 3-4%, and people were calling, hey, can we do a video tour? Okay, I'll offer $100,000 over list price cash.
Right, it was easy. They were falling in your lap.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
And all these people got
deal.
their license in that time, and they thought it was just the most easiest, glamorous thing ever.
Which it was for a time period.
For a very short amount of time.
Right.
And a lot of people made a lot of money during that time. But now
it's a real market.
Yeah, it's a real market. It's actually what it was like when I started selling real estate back in 2012. I actually like this market because it's weeding out the people that aren't willing to put the work in. They're not willing to stay consistent. They're not.
Would you say that they're lazy?
Yes, I will say they're lazy.
Right.
Yeah, because that is.
Because the reason I said that is because an agent said that to me this week. I had said, what's going on? I'm not hearing from a lot of the agents that I talk to for years. Right. And then some of the newer ones that I've met over the last year or two, where are they? They're MIA. It's like silent.
Yeah.
Okay. And she said, Alex, I hate to say, but a lot of them are lazy.
Yeah. And they became complacent because a lot of them got licensed in 2020, 2021, and they just thought it was a waterfall of cash raining in on their business with little to zero effort. And now it's actually what the market is supposed to be like. And yeah, they're lazy, and they would rather get a second full-time job, waitressing, bartending, doing whatever, than put the time into your real estate business to create systems and processes that are going to create lifelong sustainable businesses, which is what I did in 2012. And I didn't have my first sale when I first became licensed for 6 months.
Right. Nothing.
Yeah. And a lot of people, in this day and age, they want instant gratification.
Sure they do.
You know, they're on Zillow. They press a button. They want someone to call them in 10 seconds. They want to go see the house in a few hours. They want instant gratification.
I
so
agree.
if you have to wait more than a week to see any type of results, you're like, F this, I'm out. I'm going to go bartend and make $300 in my shift and be able to pay for my groceries.
You were never in it for a career then to begin with, right?
Exactly.
Or you thought maybe you were in it for a career, but then you learned that you actually had to work.
Exactly. Right.
I mean, that's.
Oh yeah. And I say this because I have specific people that I'm thinking of in mind. I won't name drop, but
no, we're not going to go there. We're not going to go there, right?
But there's a lot of them. Like, I'm just going to be honest that I see
There's a ton of
There's
them.
a lot. There's a lot.
I know. I talk to them, or actually I don't talk to them anymore because I don't know where they're
They've
at.
gotten out of the business.
They're just, they quietly fall off.
Yeah, they do. They quietly fall off. Exactly.
You know.
And so the agents like me are taking over the very little share that they had when they were selling 2-3 years ago. And that's why I like this market, because only the strong survive, and the people that are willing to hustle, put in the work, put in the effort, and be consistent with it without giving up. That's what it takes to succeed in this market.
And do you see a lot of agents still coming into the business, or is that like completely fallen off where new agents are coming in?
No, I see it because, just from the brokerage introducing
That's what I mean.
people,
KW.
et cetera.
Right.
But nowhere near in the droves that they were coming in 4 or 5 years ago.
Nowhere near. So that's a sign, guys. I mean, this is a sign of really what's going on. And this NAR thing didn't help, right, with your commission.
Right.
What do you think on that?
It's funny. When I was driving here, I was on the phone with another agent friend of mine, and I was telling her I was coming to speak. And I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about the NAR
we're definitely
settlement.
going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Right,
and I said, I don't really know what type of value I can provide on this podcast about the NAR settlement because my business hasn't changed.
Right.
And
it's business as usual.
It is. It is business as usual.
Why am I hearing so many agents tell me that they're having a problem with getting people to sign this paper, which I don't know too much about because I'm a loan officer.
Right.
But you guys got to get them to sign this contract to say that you're going to pay you or whatever, your commission,
Yep.
or you're not going to work for free or whatever.
Right.
And they're telling me that the buyers will not sign it.
So the way I go about it is I don't work with many buyers anymore just because, and I did for a long time.
Sure.
And I still work with buyers, but if it's
But you're more of a listing agent.
I've tried, there is no try. So I focus more on the listing side of the business.
Okay.
And unless it's a past client that I know very well that needs help, it's a referral from a very close friend or family member. And they're like, we only trust you.
Right.
Or, it's someone in my sphere. So for the most part, those are buyers I'll still work with. If it's a warm introduction of someone I don't know, if it's an online lead, if it's a sign call, a cold lead, I will give them to the girls on my team just because I don't have the bandwidth.
And are they getting these cold leads to sign?
Yes, because you just have to be coached right and provide.
So I think that's the problem here. There's not a lot of training.
No, there isn't.
To tell these people how to do it.
No. And that's, I think, the missing piece. And so what we're doing, and hopefully this will help provide some value to everyone listening.
You wouldn't believe how many new agents watch this.
Oh, I'm
telling you, I run into them left and right and they say, I see the show. I like it because it's local.
Yeah.
You always have a local agent on.
Love it.
And you always talk about NAR and all this other stuff going on and how to be successful. So go ahead.
So if we have a very cold lead or sign call, we do buy lead aggregators. I spend money on Realtor.com, not my favorite platform, but you're locked into this damn contract and you can't get out. So I won't be renewing.
I see a lot of that too.
Oh God, don't get me started with that. But so if it's someone that doesn't really have already a relationship with me or my team, and they don't know the process, because a lot of them are first-time home buyers, what we do is we educate them. And I think when you're educated, you can make better decisions in every aspect of your life. So we say, in the middle of August, their NAR had a settlement that requires us to have buyers sign a buyer agency contract prior to viewing any listings.
Sure.
And this is required, or I cannot show it to you. And I don't do it over.
Is it a 1-day contract?
So what we do is we don't do it over the phone.
Okay.
So we're trying to cultivate the lead. I tell the girls on my team, schedule the appointment.
Right.
Because
meet with them face to face.
Correct. And that's where I schedule the appointment, I meet with them, and then it's a home run. They're going to work with me.
I think that's a big problem because a lot of people don't want to meet with people.
Don't do it over the phone. So if it's a sign call, don't be like, oh, before I schedule the showing, I'm going to send you a DocuSign. And they're like, I don't even know you. Like I wouldn't sign something like that.
I wouldn't either.
So what we do is we schedule the appointment and we meet them and we print out hard copies of the buyer agency contract.
Yeah.
And I go over it like, hey, because we're already here. They're not going to not sign it and turn around.
Yeah.
Right. So, and I explain.
Well, you make them feel comfortable.
Yeah, make them feel very
what
comfortable.
They're doing.
Yes. And if they don't want to sign it for a term of 3 months, 6 months, whatever, most of the case, we don't even get them to do that. We sign it for that specific property that we're talking about.
Okay.
So, hey, this is just for 123 Main Street. And it's going to allow me to represent you if you are interested in this particular property. If for some reason this is not a good fit, then hey, we can discuss down the road signing a contract for any other property that I can show you.
Okay.
And I let them know that most sellers nowadays are still offering buyer agency compensation, because if I have a seller calling, and this actually hasn't happened very often, it's very few and far between where sellers are calling me, hey, there's this NAR settlement. Does that mean I don't have to pay buyer agency? I said, it doesn't mean that. And I would strongly advise against not paying a buyer agent, because guess what it's going to do? It's going to decrease a ton of eyes on your listing. You're going to deter so many people from showing the house. And then that's going to result in little to zero activity and no offers. And if you do get offers, it's going to be
here. She knows what she's talking about, right? To coach these people on the reason why you should pay the commission.
Yes. Yeah. Because as a listing agent or as a buyer's agent, I haven't been doing it lately because honestly, I've been too busy, but sometimes my assistant will call if I am showing houses. Hey, this is my itinerary for today. Can you please reach out to the listing agent and just ask what the co-op is?
How many people are on your team?
There are a total of 4.
So she's got 4 people on her team that are under her, right? Which is your assistant too, and then other agents on top of it, which is great in this market to be able to coach people, right?
Yes.
Probably like that.
Yeah, it's actually one of my passions. I love coaching and teaching.
That's great.
Yes.
I mean, and you don't find many people like that in this market. And I think that's a problem. There's no training.
Exactly. And that's why they're struggling.
Nobody wants to mentor anybody.
No.
I mean, you might get on somebody's team and then they don't talk to you.
No, that's the problem.
I think that is an issue.
It is. I think agents think they're going to join someone's team and that's going to be the secret sauce to instant success. And you got to join the right team. You got to join a team where the team leader is available, that there's training involved and that they're going to answer their phone on the weekends or at night to help coach you through a problem.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times they don't do that. I'll give you paid leads. Cool. What's the point of having a paid lead if you have no idea how to convert the lead or write a contract or negotiate an offer and all the other things in between?
You've seen a lot of agents still pushing to get paid leads? From your
yes, because they're too lazy to put the work into their database.
So they figure the paid leads are going to get them. But the paid leads are usually, from my experience, I do a lot of co-marketing, right? With Realtor.com.
Yeah.
Zillow, a few other sites, whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
I do it for them because they want to do that. I only see maybe out of 10, 2 that actually get good leads out of it. And we do convert, but the rest of them are really not good.
Yeah.
The leads are not good. The people never respond. I don't know if the agent calls them. I don't call them first. I let the agent call and warm the lead up. And then if the person wants to talk to a mortgage guy, then we come in and somebody on my team will call them or myself will call them or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't see much success there.
Yeah.
I'll get success off of working with that agent on their personal stuff. But if you go back to say, did it come from Realtor.com or Zillow? No.
Exactly. Yeah. So when I look at where the source of all my business, which I have my pulse on that every month, every week, really.
Yeah.
But when I really look at it, my top 3 lead sources are referrals, sphere of influence, and past clients. Those are my top 3 lead sources. And because we advertise on Realtor.com, there are occasions where the girls on my team are not available to take these leads.
You might get something off of it.
So guess what? I have to answer the phone every single time I convert them.
The Realtor.com.
Yes. Right. But I'm not even trying. I think we've had it now. I started doing Realtor.com in October. I used to do Zillow. I got rid of it.
Yeah, Zillow used to be great. And Zillow,
it's really
if you are doing Zillow right now, I think you need to.
Agreed. Realtor.com, I definitely think is a better ROI. It's not as expensive as Zillow.
No, it isn't.
And they have a different structure where you can share zip code.
Or you can be exclusive.
Right. Yeah. So we have
which
exclusivity.
Most of the agents that I do it with or co-market with, they get exclusive.
Correct. Yeah. Right. So I would say in the 11 months that we've been doing it, I have converted 9 or 10 buyers. That's and great. Then I've also, sometimes they need to sell. So then I get a listing out of it. Yeah. And I probably answer 10% of the calls. So I do think it's a combination of the agent working the leads and how diligent they are with follow-up. Real estate is not hard. You have to just stay consistent in the activities that you know that you need to do in order to build a sustainable
but how important is the follow-up? I mean, I think the follow-up is the key.
So many people don't. And I think that is why.
I think that is the biggest problem. No one follows up with anybody.
It is. And because they get a lead that comes in, and if they can't get them on the phone right away, or they do, and they set an appointment, and they don't like that house, they forget to follow up because they want the low-hanging fruit from the next lead that calls.
Yeah.
And that's,
I've had agents say to me, Alex, you got to follow up with the leads. Like if I'm giving you a lead, you got to follow up with them. Or anybody on your team, they got to follow up.
Yeah.
It's in the follow-up.
It is always, the fortune is in the follow-up. That's what they say.
You have to call them again.
You do.
You have to check in with them.
You have to put them in your CRM. You have to send them weekly newsletters. Yes. You have to invite them to your client events. Right. You have to Text them every 3 to 6 months.
And then when
check
you're in process, you have to continually follow up with them on what's going on while we're in process.
Oh, because you have to make sure that the client experience is exceptional, because that's how you're going to get repeat business.
Right. And that's even after me doing it for so many years, I'm still learning that is the crucial part of making you're getting a referral out of that.
Absolutely.
Or the person will trash you at the end of the thing and say, you know what, they closed me. Yeah, but it wasn't the best process.
Mm-hmm.
They remember.
Oh yeah, they do.
And then you're not going to get a referral out of it.
Yep.
So I think the follow-up is huge.
It is. And you have to have a system around follow-up, or you get very busy and life gets in the way and you're going to be stuck in that roller coaster production where you have really, really great months and then you're in the valley and you can't pay your bills and then you're in a peak. But if you have systems in place, it'll be like this, but it should be more consistent across the board.
I want to touch on something real quick. The interest rates were cut 0.5 point this week, right? Mm-hmm. I'm exhausted because people have been calling me saying, "Oh, the rates went down 0.5 point. Everything is great. Let's go party. Let's, rates should be 4% right now, right? Something like that." We got killed.
Yeah, I bet.
Okay. Guys, the rates didn't go down as dramatically, and you're seeing it too. I know you are, because I'm sure clients are calling you too. The rates didn't go down. They were already built in, right? Mm-hmm. The Fed had already built in the rates being down about a month ago. That's why the rates are in the 5s the last 3 weeks. The minute that the Fed cuts the rates, it doesn't mean that the rates go down overnight, the mortgage rates. The credit card bills or auto loans, that might have gone down automatically. But as far as mortgage rates, you're not going to see that dramatic drop because it was already pretty much built into the rates. Yep. And it's been a lot of that this week. And I think a lot of people are upset. They're mad because they thought that the minute that they cut them here 0.5 point, it should be like 4.5 right now, or 4% right now, or 5 even with no points. What's going on? What do you mean? They're still 6%. Why? So I know you guys are seeing it too.
Yeah, I think it's because there is a lot of misinformation out there on social media and the news.
Yeah.
And no one's taking the time to touch on the impact that when the Fed cuts the rates, that the immediate impact and the implication that makes in the mortgage industry.
Right.
It's not this overnight thing. Like you guys were predicting that the Fed was going to.
We already knew.
You already knew. So it was a preemptive
doing that in. Correct.
cut. And I think that the average consumer, if you don't have a trusted source that you can talk to, like your realtor or your loan officer,
telling you that already.
Yeah. That is prepping you with that conversation.
Yeah.
Then if you're going on to the news or Facebook or Instagram and you're watching this and they're not.
These people are disappointed now.
Yeah, they are.
They're very disappointed. They feel like they've been duped.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like, no, that's, but listen, the rates are good right now. If you look at the rates today, they're really good. 6% even, 5.87, 5 on a 30-year fixed conventional. You're doing good.
Really good.
Because where were we a year ago? 7.5, 7.25%, 8%.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We saw some crazy things. So if I'm giving you 5.875 or 6%, they did go down. You aren't duped. That is what it is. Right? FHA right now is 5.25 to 5.5.
Crazy.
That's sick.
Yeah. That's amazing.
I don't know why everybody's mad.
I don't know either, because I bought a house.
We've been waiting for these rates.
We have. I bought a new house last June and my rate was 6.875. I didn't buy the rate down because I knew I was going to refinance.
Right. Which you're going to.
Yes. And so I'm telling people now, like, you're saving a point from what I paid a year ago. Like,
right. Like, what's the problem?
Take it all day long. I know.
You know what it is? People are waiting for 2% or 3%.
And they're never going to see that again. Yeah.
You need a pandemic.
Yeah. Which I'm not wishing on anyone.
We're not having a pandemic. No. I don't want one. You don't want one. That's it.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go to, because I haven't hit it on many questions. You're like, we've been on tangents here.
Sorry.
I haven't even asked her anything. Like, it's fine, but all right. So you're tons of social media.
Yes.
Tons of social media. You go on her, and I said this in the beginning of the show, you go on her Facebook or Instagram, it's video after video after video. It's content, it's education, it's her showing houses, it's her team closing deals, it's her closing deals, it's her telling you to do this and don't do that. How much business do you think you get off social media? Just doing that. Like, are you doing that just to do that, or are you doing that because you're actually seeing results off of it?
So it's hard to put a pulse on how many clients or new business that I bring in as a direct result from my social media efforts, because it's not like I have someone in my DMs say, hey, I saw your reel. I have $1 million listing. Can you help me sell my house?
Okay.
It's not that, which that does happen. I will say it, and I know people personally that happens to.
Yep.
I will be honest, that hasn't happened to me.
Right.
But
maybe not directly.
Exactly. It's not directly,
That's
but
what
I know without a doubt, the people that already follow me. So I have like, I don't know, 2,200 followers on Instagram. I need to grow my Instagram. It's very hard.
Facebook is.
But yeah, my Facebook, I have like almost 6,000 followers on Facebook.
She's old school Facebook, right?
I am. It's because I'm my age. I'm almost 40.
That's what I mean. Right? I'm 48. So we're Facebook.
We are Facebook. 100%. Yes.
I mean, that's, I got like 5,000 people on Facebook, I think, or 4,000. Yeah. Instagram, I got 1,000 or 1,500. I mean, it's the same thing.
It is. And it's nice that both platforms link. So if you're putting a story on Instagram, that your Facebook people see it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of working overtime for you in that regard.
Yeah.
But the audience that I already have on both platforms, from them seeing me show up every single day, I am on their feed. I'm in their stories. I'm posting. I'm engaging.
Are you doing it on your own, or you got somebody doing it for you?
No, I think that is the secret, the key to the secret sauce with social media results is doing it yourself, because you have to be your authentic self, because you are the brand. You are building the brand, and you need to run it yourself. I mean, there might be people that are big time that, the Ryan Serhants of the world, whatever, that they have social media marketers, and like, it's not him doing it. Yeah.
Right.
But when you're kind of in this phase, your growth phase, you definitely need to carve out time in your day. Like every morning between 8:30 and 9, when my husband takes my son to school, I finish my tea and I engage in Facebook, and I wish everyone happy birthday, and I respond to comments. I create my reel for the day.
Nice.
And then throughout the day, I'll get on stories. I will, depending on what I have going on, sometimes I'll do a day in the life. Sometimes I'll just like do little snippets, whatever. And then at night, I will also respond to comments. It's huge. It is huge. And creating content, if it has to hit one of three things. It has to either be educational, it has to be inspirational, or it has to be entertainment.
Are you boosting any of this stuff or no? So you're not boosting anything?
No, I'm not doing any paid ads. I'm not getting any, it's not sponsored.
Right.
Everything is organic, and I get anywhere between, on every post, the engagement and reach is, 30,000 to 50,000 accounts that we'll find on a reel. And then
I can't wait, because that means this show's going to explode.
Yeah, I hope so.
30,000, baby. I'm holding you to that.
Okay,
all right. That's it. And if it's 29, I want 30.
And then great. When you're making it big time, I'll come back.
All right. That's good. That's good. We'll bring you back on.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right. Good.
But that, I really think, if you're looking to level up your business and get more organic business, get on social
listen,
media.
I've been trying to figure that out. How do you get those views? Is it, that's crazy. Like, some of the views that we have on this show with Realtors are a couple thousand, maybe some big ones blew up and hit 3,000. And we thought that was great. Mm-hmm. When you talk big numbers, like you're talking right now, how do you do that?
So when it's a reel, I think it's important to use trending audio. That's really important. And you make sure, I try to get it under 5,000 uses. So you can see on Instagram how many times people have already used the trending audio. So it has the up arrow in the bottom left corner. That means it's trending. And then look at the uses. And I try to get the least amount of uses. Like if it's 322 uses and the music jives with the topic of the reel that I'm creating, I'll use it all day long. So the least amount of uses, make sure it's trending. You don't want it to be any more than 7 seconds, unless you're doing like a talking head style video and you're educating on something like the NAR settlement, or you're talking about a story or something that you need it to be more than 7 seconds. If you're just doing a tip or a quick walkthrough or something
but it needs to be video.
Video is king.
It's got to be video.
Video has been king for so long.
Posting something, and we do a lot of organic writing posts, like don't do this, don't buy, but it's not a video.
No, I mean, I think it's okay to sprinkle in carousel posts or the static posts every once in a while. Like I just did a sunset photo shoot with my horse, and I put a carousel post, which is 10 photos. You can max it out at 10 on Instagram. And it was our photo shoot, not real estate related, but I do sprinkle in some lifestyle content because I want my audience to resonate with me.
Yeah.
Like I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I ride horses, not right now because I'm pregnant, so I haven't been riding, but, and I'm, you know, avid in the horse world. And I also I flip houses on the side when I'm in my free time. And we have a rental portfolio. And I'm licensed in Jersey. So I want people to resonate with me, and I want them to say, okay, I know, like, and trust her. I'm a mom too. I also enjoy cooking and home decor and renovations. And she's really knowledgeable with all things real estate. So I'm going to hire her. So that's really the point of social media, is to build the brand around you. So
and then people trust you.
Correct.
Which is nice.
Yes.
What do you think about Jersey versus PA?
Don't get me started.
Yeah, right. You know, last week I had another realtor on, like I said, from Coldwell Banker, and she was Jersey and PA, and she had a very view on big differences, right? So like Jersey's crazy, and you know, there's bidding wars, and then Philly, everything's open. You can find inventory everywhere. And you can, it's easy to get a buyer to buy something in Philly because there's so many choices, versus Jersey. You're killing yourself to try to get that one offer accepted. But you tell me, what's your view?
So I'm not really going to touch on the climate of the market between both areas. I'm going to touch on just the way of doing business.
Okay.
And it is miserable doing business in Jersey. I am not going to lie.
All right.
The only reason I got licensed in Jersey was because in 2016,
Jersey agents, that was her view. All right.
Yeah. All right. This is just my personal opinion. It's because I had a lot of sellers relocating over here because of the taxes are so much lower. The school districts are just as good, if not better. Yeah. And your money goes farther over here. And so I was referring all these listings out. I'm like, let me just get licensed. It's right across the bridge.
Sure. Right.
And oh God, I'm never going to get used to it. It's, first off, it was the first time I ever saw 2% co-ops.
Yeah.
Like for
There's
compensation.
A lot of them over there.
It's like,
no doubt.
And these agents will maybe sign a 6% listing contract, and the listing agent takes 4% and they get the buyer's agent too.
2%. And the buyer's agent's happy with that.
What? And they're okay with it.
Yeah, they're okay with that.
That is the wildest thing I've ever seen. So that's first and foremost. Two, depending on where you're doing business in Jersey, there's attorneys involved.
Yes.
So North Jersey,
Central Jersey,
and Central attorneys almost all day long.
Yeah.
And I've seen attorneys almost ruin and kill deals for no reason at all. Like I just had a client, a good friend of mine, buy a house in Hunterdon County. The attorneys on both sides were arguing with each other for 3 weeks. We couldn't get out of attorney review.
Yeah, it's bad.
I'm like, if you were in PA, we've already gotten through inspections.
Yeah.
The appraisal would have already been done, and we've been going to closing.
Right. We don't have attorneys here.
No.
Right.
So it's just so unnecessarily complicated.
And the bidding wars are a lot more.
Yeah. Like, oh God, I just wrote an offer the other day. Oh, this psycho agent. She, when she calls me.
There are a lot of psycho agents.
There really are. Like, they're so
But I'm not allowed to say that. That was her view.
That was me. They literally, she gets on the phone with one of the girls on my team, and instead of trying to negotiate and come together, because her seller wants to sell, our buyer wants to buy, and come together and work as a collective, she has to go off and say, I'm the number one agent in this area. I've never heard of you. I only work in luxury. I'm the top blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And you have to put at least $100,000 down in earnest money. And you have to use my lender and my attorney and my title company. And if not, I'm not even going to even present the offer.
Yeah, one of them.
I'm like, what?
They want to steer the whole thing.
The wildest thing I've ever. I'm like, who does that?
Yeah, they don't do it in Philly here.
No,
they're a different breed over there.
Oh my, very rarely in the 600 plus homes I've sold, maybe 1 or 2 times in Philly or in this area, have I ever come across a pompous, full of themselves agent that it was literally from the minute we called, like trying to kill the deal. Thank God our clients we actually wrote an offer and with an escalation clause, and because there was already an offer on the table, they were in attorney review. That's the other crazy thing. You can have an accepted offer in Jersey, be in attorney review, and terminate the offer if another better offer comes in.
Big time. You know how many times that happens to me over there?
What the heck?
I can't tell you how many deals I've lost like that.
Yes, it's the craziest thing. Like
they'll outbid you. The minute you go into attorney review, they'll outbid you.
Yes.
And then they'll call me and say, Alex, can you bump the pre-approval letter another 10,000? What? We're already
You were under contract.
No. Somebody else came in and I'm like, what?
The most insane thing. So this happened and we write an escalation clause. This agent's like, I don't do escalation clauses. What? I don't do them. So you need to come up and match this number. Okay, then show me the competing offer. No, I'm not going to show it. You just have to trust me. That's what she said. I'm like, and thank God my clients walked away. Thank God.
Man, this is the truth. This is a fire.
Oh,
here,
yeah.
Man. I'm
Don't
telling
get
you.
me started.
This is not playing around.
No.
All right. All right. When we choose these people to come on, we choose them. All right. So I love it. It's great.
Okay, good. Hopefully this isn't too much for your viewers.
This is great.
I'm telling it how it is here.
This is great because I think this is what people want to hear. And I think if you're a Philly agent or a PA agent and you're thinking of getting your Jersey license, listen to what Becky just said. I mean, maybe she can tell you.
Yeah, I'll tell you how it is. I mean, I wouldn't say don't get your license in Jersey. Just
I always say it's
prepared.
good to have both licenses.
It is good to have both.
Because if you're slow somewhere, then you might be busy over there.
Absolutely.
Or if you're busy over there and you're slow over here, you get something to supplement.
Yeah. And I had a client who's actually a Zillow lead from 2 years ago. He lived up in Essex County, in Nutley, New Jersey, way up in North Jersey. He wanted to relocate down to Bucks and to the Yardley area because your money goes farther and you can buy way more house for way less money.
Yep.
And you just want more of that suburban rural feel, which is beautiful where we live. And I helped him buy his house. He's so happy. He has this beautiful home. And he's like, I need to sell my house. I'm like, okay, I don't work in North Jersey. Ed's a different beast. I don't even have that MLS. Yeah. He's like, I don't care. I only want to use you. So I was very transparent.
I mean, that's what you want.
Right. So what did we do? I cut the MLS up there. I found a sign install company up there. I found a photographer up there. I made it happen and I sold his house and he was super happy. So it gives you more leverage.
Right. So that's what I mean. If you can supplement, and do something on the side. So I like this. I mean, I like to hear, your perspective because I think every agent some agents really like Jersey. And they like doing business better there because they think Philly is just a different animal. A lot of them are saying I'm just slow in Philly. There's nothing going on in Philly. It's stagnant.
I agree with that. And so I do business in Philly. I mean, you look at my production, maybe 30 or 40% of my deals are somewhere in Philly.
In the city.
The majority of my deals are actually in Bucks and Montgomery County.
Sure, because
that's where I live. It's where I grew up.
There. Yeah. And which is a good area.
It is. I mean, your average sale price is, $500.
So one of the last questions, what are the predictions for 2025? What's going to happen? Is it you're really going to have just teams? I see that.
Teams in the real estate industry?
Correct.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have your king listing agent,
right,
which would be yourself. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to have a lot of agents who won't be able to maybe do it on their own because of this NAR thing. So maybe they jump on a team like you and then you are handing them out the leads to come to the listing itself, like you're saying, or the open house, and then you can help control their business. Yeah.
I definitely think teams are going to be more of a thing. I mean, they're pretty popular now,
right? Right.
But when I first got started, I ended up joining a team.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And I was able to create my foundation, and it fast tracked my success big time.
Yeah.
And then when I moved back here, I'm like, all right, I've been doing this for 2 years. I know what I'm doing. I'm just going to go off on my own. And then I created a team in 2020. So I think people are going to gravitate more towards teams. But I do think it's going to hopefully go back to more of a balanced market with interest rates coming down. And then these people that are the sellers that are in these handcuffs with these 3% interest rates, and they were very reluctant to list and give up their 3% interest rate to go into an 8%.
Effect. Right.
Yeah. So I think they're actually going to be like, all right, I'll cash in on my $300,000, $400,000 of equity that I built over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Give up my 3% interest rate, go into a 5% rate. And then I'll need to buy something too. So I think there's going to be more inventory hitting the market because of that.
Good.
And then the buyers that have been on the sidelines because they didn't want to go into a 7% interest rate or an 8%, they're going to come back into the market.
Yeah.
And I think it's just going to be one happy
So it's going to be a balanced
thing.
Market, which is what we're looking for.
That's my prediction.
We're praying for.
Yes.
Listen, there's one thing I want to touch on before we go to. There's a lot of people that are in the market. They get the contract. They don't read it. They just sign it. They get a lock-in agreement from us. If they lock in their rate, they don't read it. They just sign it. They get an estimate of closing costs from us. They don't read it. They just sign it. Okay. You got to read what you're signing. Okay. You can't not read anything the whole process. And then the week of closing, you start reading things, right? And then you wonder, why is this? Why is that? Why am I paying this? Why is my rate this? How come you didn't tell me this? I never knew this. I didn't know. What do you mean? How come everything comes up? Okay. I'm seeing more and more of this. And the buyers in the market, the agents are giving us the buyers. We're qualifying them. We're giving them the estimate up front of closing costs. We're putting the disclosures out. We're wording the appraisal, getting the deal going. It seems like nobody's looking at anything.
I agree. Yeah.
They're not reading anything. And then they're reading it the week of closing, right? When the CD finally comes out and the real numbers are there, or the rates are there, and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, where were you the last 30 days, right? Or where were you the last 60 days? Like, did you read anything that you signed? So my advice to everybody in the market right now, especially when things are so touchy right now with everything, like every deal counts. You may have outbid 20 people to get this house. You don't want to lose the house because you didn't read what you were given up front. And then you get sticker shock 2 or 3 weeks into the deal. And then you no longer want to do the deal, right? It's cold feet, which I'm sure you see.
Yeah. And we have clients that we've gone over things multiple times with them.
I'm sure.
And then they still call. And I'm like, we already went over this. Like, were you not listening?
Yes.
Or are you not paying attention?
Yeah.
And
I know I told you this because we always tell this to everybody. But I think that a lot of people are just, just sign. Would you send me? I'll sign it real quick. Read it.
Yeah. And if you don't know the answer to something, there are no stupid questions. Yeah.
Ask the question.
Yes. I know that I will. And if it's something that I'm not very versed in, and ask, because that's what we're here to do, is educate and inform. Because like I said earlier, when you're educated, you can make a lot better decisions.
Right. And I think that's the problem right now. It's a lot of, I'm not downing you. I know you're excited when you're buying a house. Everybody's excited. The agent's excited. We're excited because we're going to get you into the house behind the scenes and get the mortgage process rolling and try to make it as smooth as possible. On the flip side, you gotta participate too.
Yes.
In the process, right? Looking at everything that you're signing, understanding that what your rate is, understanding what your payment's going to be. Try to, if you have a good loan officer up front, you got to let them, ask questions and feel comfortable in what you're getting into, because the last thing you want to do is come to the week of closing and all of a sudden, I can't believe my payment's this. And it's like, where you been? Yeah. Your payment is this. It's always been this. And then you start pulling documents from 3 weeks ago to prove to you that you signed. And it turns in, it makes a good process into a bad process.
Yes.
We might have been 5-star service the whole time, but then we get to the week of closing and you didn't read anything. So now you're trashing everybody in the process. And I'm not talking just the loan officer. They bring the realtor into it then too, because then they blame the realtor for saying, well, you gave me this mortgage company.
Right.
You gave me this guy.
Right.
Right. And then it's you.
Yep.
And your reputation. And then everybody takes a shot.
Yeah. And I tell this to the girls on my team all the time. I think one of the key factors to success is, in any relationship, is communication. Yeah. And overly be communicative to your clients, your buyers, your sellers, to the co-op.
Especially right now.
Yeah. Because there is so much information thrown at you, especially with the NAR settlement and all the things going on in the industry. Yeah. Over communicate. It's better than erring on the side of less communication. Yeah, I love it. Becky, I appreciate you coming on. I mean, we just did 1 hour flat here. It didn't even feel like 1 hour. It didn't feel wild. Like that, right? Yes. I didn't even get to half of what I wanted to ask her because I could go another hour. I mean, it's crazy. It is. But I appreciate you coming on. I think we got a lot of good stuff. So if you're going to watch the show Wednesday, 9 a.m., we air it. But I think if you want to talk to someone who has experience, this is the person to talk to. I think the most experienced agents like yourself are going to make it. And tell us about the show you're on real quick. I don't want to leave without saying that. Thank you. So American Dream TV, it's the newest edition that they came out with, called Selling Philadelphia. And they chose, I think, 4 or 5 agents from this area. Yeah, it's awesome. I am highlighting the lifestyle of why it's so fabulous to live in Bucks County, which is where I'm from.
Do you go with clients and you're showing houses on the show, or what?
So no, it's actually not really a real estate show. It's a lifestyle show.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's basically, they send me their production crew and we come up with 3 different segments a month to film on, and they're about 5 minutes long. And it's highlighting why it's so fabulous to live where we're at.
That's awesome.
And we can choose to, at the very end, highlight a listing that we have,
right? Something like that.
But sometimes we don't have to. But I think that if you
it's really just highlighting yourself.
It's really building the brand. So it's going along with everything I just talked about, and building the brand. And they're giving me the raw footage to share on social and share with newsletters to my database. And and it's on HGTV. It's on Amazon Prime.
They need to do that for loan officers here, man. Come on, where's our show at?
I know.
We need something, just to highlight us.
I agree.
Somehow. But that's great.
Thank you.
I think that's good for your brand, is right.
Yeah, I'm
People
excited.
see that, and then they're like, oh, this is, I've seen this person, so that when you reach out to them, they're going to say, I saw you on TV.
Yeah. Yeah.
So cool.
Thank you.
I'm going to watch. Thank you for coming on.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure.
I thought it was awesome.
Me
We'll
too.
have you back next year.
Sounds good.
When the rates are 4% and we're going
and
crazy.
your show blew up.
And the show blew up. I'll have 30,000 views every show from here on in. Right?
Exactly.
So we're going to hold you to that too.
Perfect.
And we'll see you guys next week. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.